since we're talking of a funnel, we're talking of the first top part being the 80% of the market.
Sure.
Every business jumps when it hears there's 80% of my market segment, which are there. You can put a few on clarity because you have provided some form of relevance. So it's a second touch point with you. But to those you've not provided relevance, they just find you while looking for information. It can serve as a form of deterrent. Maybe they can be hard on it because they feel they don't really know much.
So my view would be, because from the very first place, my idea is I want to put the best interest of my client.
Thanks for tuning in to our podcast, Allos Connect. Here we're talking brand and all things marketing. We're doing a follow-up on our previous shoot where we unpacked the essence of businesses getting to understand the structure of their market. Our understanding and our conviction is that a market has got segments, and it is key that as a business you get to understand those segments so that you can best communicate with your market effectively, so that you can communicate effectively and eventually get the best out of your investment in trying to communicate or communicate with your market. Well, I'm not alone this morning. Once more, I have my core team member here, Mr. Mabusela Sifiso.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
All good, man.
We're continuing on our previous conversation where we unpacked and touched about the essence of understanding why you need to understand your market segments as a business. Okay. And why you need to derive your communication strategy slowly based on what you understand, the way you understand your market segment. Can you just reflect on our previous conversation as to why that is important?
Yeah, well, I think agreeably we spoke about quite a number of things as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
But I think the most important part was just bringing this to attention in terms of what we really mean by market segment.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these words and terms can come across as very, technical.
Yeah.
So it's about maybe breaking them down so that a business owner out there watching this, can be able to actually identify or resonate with actually what are we really meaning when we talk about market segments.
That's great. Yeah. Our take is at any given moment or at a given time, every business has got what they would call their market.
Right.
But that market comprises of components, which we term them segments. Because in that market, your clients, your clientele, or your prospects, they are in different stages. Yeah. They are in different stages at any given time.
Right. So the buying cycle.
Yeah, they're buying cycles. Right. Your buyers are segmented in different categories.
Right.
And not all your market things alike. Not all your market pool is the same.
Okay.
And therefore, it is important that you filter your segment, get to understand what it is formed out of which components there.
But what would you mean if you say it's not all the market is the same?
No, I'm saying your market segment. For example, if you are your market is your sports, it's a sports or fitness market.
Right.
Within that market, there's different categories that you need to derive.
Okay.
So that you'll be able to communicate effectively. So. But now, what we mean by market segments, we mean that within that given market, we've got it's dissected into three
stages.
Stages. But I want to call them characters or behaviors of your buyers.
Okay.
You understand? Because once you understand their psychological formations,
right,
you'll be able to then be able to know how to interact with them effectively.
Okay.
So we are by talking of segments, we are really meaning the psychological and their psychological phases or characters or attitudes of your market. So we then dissect to say within that given market, we will have 80% of your market segment, which comprises of your prospects which are not yet even thinking of buying,
right,
and not looking to buy anything
right,
of your offering.
sure,
We also have 17% which are actively looking. They're searching for a service, a solution, a product. They are your market. They are within your market. And you look at the 3% which are always ready to buy.
okay,
So that in a nutshell is what you call our buyer readiness. That makes what you call marketing buyer readiness funnel.
okay,
So we then pack them up in a funnel formation because of their size and because of the stages that they are in. So when you look at the funnel, you have the pressure point,
part.
the narrow part, which is the 3%. Whereas the pressure point, we've got the middle part, which is the 17%, and then we've got the open top of the funnel, where we would have the large part of the market being congested or phased in. You understand? So I think in a nutshell, that is what we mean when you talk of segments within the market.
Sure. So how I think maybe
then the question becomes, as a business, you need to understand that formation,
right?
And then for you to be able to effectively communicate and get the best worth of your investment,
sure,
in trying to reach your or selling your product or reaching your market. So that's what constitutes the segments in the market.
Sure.
We've unpacked that,
right?
But in unpacking it, we started off from the pool, from the top,
Right.
to say, since we're talking of a funnel, we're talking of the first top part being the 80% of the market.
Sure.
Every business jumps when it hears there's 80% of my market segment which are there.
Yeah.
But you need to understand all the characteristics of those clients or prospects for you to be able to get the best out of them. So we then talked of what forms of communications you should engage on when you try to reach that, and how you need to communicate with them given the stage where they are in.
Right.
So maybe that's why I want you to take us through then as to what we unpacked on that 80%, and then because today we are moving down the funnel, we are going to focus on the middle part of the funnel, and then we will then dissect as to why we even call it the segment. We call it a research segment within the funnel. But start with the 80. Maybe just unpack for us. What did we unpack when we talked of that segment of the market?
Yeah, well, I think the easiest part will be pointing the viewer to actually to the link to that previous episode.
Yeah.
Because then at least then that will then give me enough time for us to focus on that. But essentially, I think it's a lot of it. It's more in that. I think you'd find the link to that episode somewhere here.
Okay.
And then because then we touched in depth on that.
Okay. But what stood out for you upon unpacking those?
Yeah. Look, one of the things that stood out is that again, in any given market category, the reality is that there's the huge part of the market for any businesses, particularly most small businesses, we are overlooking and ignoring them.
Yeah.
And are only speaking to a fraction of what is out there, and I think from an opportunity point of view, we are disempowering ourselves in terms of exposing ourselves to reaching that much of a pool. So we're actually saying we are not even communicating to 80%. That's a huge part of the market that we're actually missing out on. You might not necessarily get the whole the entire 80%, but the concept is there's 80% of people, potential customers, that you are not even speaking to. And that, for me, I think from an opportunity cost point of view,
that's right.
It's detrimental for a lot of business growth.
And I like the suggestion to send them to a link. But the funniest thing above all is that, the most detrimental tragedy is that a lot of businesses don't even know that this formation exists. You understand? Because our position as businesses, we provide services, or we provide products, we manufacture goods to sell.
Sure.
It's all about getting a stock out there, selling and selling and selling. And not knowing that actually that approach only is the least of all. When you unpack your market segment, because that's just people, the 3% of people that you are communicating with, which are they're ready to buy now. And that's a very congested space, but we'll get there. Today, we focusing on the middle center, or the center part of our funnel, which is the 17%. Those are, according to our definition, those are customers or potential clients which are out there, which now are in the different stage within their thinking, and their decision making. And I just want you to explain to us what would be a 17% categorized client look like? What persona will they display?
I think from a technical point of view, the definition of the persona is the same. We've clearly defined who. I think if you actually did this exercise, we've actually built different avatars for your business.
All right.
Based on the type of product or services that you provide as a business. So that picture or that character is the same.
Okay.
The only thing that changes is that this person that we have defined goes through into
different cycles.
Different cycles. They are always on the move. So it's about the timing. And the onus are upon you as a business to learning these insights and aspects to say at what point will this person that I've clearly defined to be within what we call market or the target market, at what stage would they be in at a given particular point in time? So as we've defined that in the 80%, which we've defined this in a funnel format. That's the top of the funnel. So a large part of people, in fact, at that stage, they're not ready to buy.
That's right.
They're not in any buying season technically. So they're not actively looking for the solutions or whatever that you have to offer. So, but that doesn't mean that they will not need that in the future. So, so it's about positioning yourself to speaking and communicating relevance to that audience firstly. But then when you start moving down to the middle of the funnel, which is the 17% of that target market that you have, and I hope that you have defined. But essentially, the 17% is it's the buyers who are in information gathering stage.
All right.
So they are preparing to buy. So they are gathering information. Previously, when we spoke, I gave a typical example of a family that is planning a vacation.
Yeah.
So it's probably what now, mid-year, and most travels and vacations towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it is at this stage where now this family will typically be looking for information.
All right.
What is an ideal destination of choice? When we go there, what mode of transport are we using? Are we driving there? Are we flying? Do we catch a bus? So forth. So basically, this is the time where you're busy gathering information. You don't have your wallet out yet.
Yeah.
But whatever information that you are gathering, it's helping you make a buying decision.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, where is this person getting the information?
Yeah.
Because the sources from which they pull this information, which inadvertently is perceived as valuable information for them, because it helps them make a buying decision. So the question becomes, the sources from which they are pulling this information,
are you found?
That's the question.
Yeah.
So essentially, so this would be for somebody who's running a business in the travel. If you're a travel agency,
yeah,
this is your 17%. Is in the information gathering stage. So yeah. And this can also be defined for different other types of business across any industry.
Right. So you've well defined the 17%. Now, that category, we say those people are looking for clarity. Yeah, I like the way you put it there. Information gathering to help them to make a buying decision.
Yes.
So then, how do you position yourself as a business towards those prospects? How should you position yourself? Because you've aligned well your scenario, but I want you to now help businesses to be able to say what sort of position you should take in that space. And then I'll add another question once you.
This is I think this is the kind of information that I would charge for.
Obviously.
This is what I would put a price tag on to say. But I think in the spirit of generosity, I'll share one or two things.
Yeah.
So this is when I think going back to as a travel agency, how then do you position yourself?
Just pause it there.
Okay.
Just pause it there. Because yesterday, or when we did the first part, we talked of in the 80%, you offering information without expecting any return.
Yes.
Now, I want you to think of that when you're answering the question, because I want you to find that do we still offer without expecting a return when you're talking to the segment that is looking for clarity? Just unpack that. I know you charge for this information, but for the purpose of this session, you can.
I would say sadly, because this is you do have an expectation, but then the expectation again also
is choice.
Yeah. The expectation is, as you said, it's choice,
and that they choose you.
A large part of it, it's still more on similar to the 80%, where it's still give. A large part of it, it's more of giving, and I think the expectation here at this stage is not necessarily for buying. It's for engagement. So and I think this is where
and then that's an important term, because if anyone looking for clarity, what do? They ask.
Yes.
They want someone who responds.
Yes.
They want someone that cares.
Right.
That's where you show the qualities that you hook them on when you appeared while they were not even thinking about you. When you appeared when they never thought of you, now they are beginning to ask questions. You must be found.
Exactly.
And
so I think the last part of it there, the expectation will be engagement.
That's right.
And again, the engagement does not necessarily have to, in fact, with no pressure, again, because at the end of the day, the goal is give value. I need to help my customer achieve X.
That's right.
That's the kind of thinking and mindset that you want to find yourself in, position yourself in this space, particularly when you are then speaking to this segment or buyers in this particular segment.
Now, what are the dangers that you have perceived that most businesses fail to execute when it comes to the 17%?
Sure.
Being the most critical part. I mean, you have put a lot of investment. You've put a lot of investment out there.
A lot.
And now people are beginning to respond. They are not found. What are the dangers, and what you have seen? Why businesses still fail in this?
Look, a large part of it again, I think, goes back to why I think I have this thing against this the narrow mindset. The obsession of performance-driven marketing.
All right.
Where everything has to make sense on a spreadsheet. The reality is that human beings don't actually make financial decisions based on spreadsheet.
All right.
And until we take that into consideration, it is actually disempowering ourselves to optimize certain areas of our business. We spoke, I think, some time ago, because a large part of this segment has to do with opportunity costs.
Yeah.
And the problem with opportunity costs, it's difficult to quantify. It's easy to can measure. What does it cost for you to make a phone call to a prospect client? You probably can put a rent value to it, to say, okay, my service provider charges me X amount of rands or cents per unit or per minute of the phone call. It takes me on average 3.5 minutes to be on a sales call with a prospect client. So you can easily put that down. But an opportunity cost, that's something else. Now, a lot of businesses, a simple thing, answering the phone, and purely because of you didn't pick up the phone, you don't see anything wrong. A phone rang, no one answered the phone, life continues normal. But the enlightenment, or the realization of what a simple answering of the phone could have done in terms of affecting the actual thing that we argue about on the spreadsheet, which is the bottom line, and that is something. And as you said, is that we do certain activities that drive attention when we are supposed to show up to the attention that we have so-called created. We are not found. So so it's actually very detrimental to a lot of small businesses. So as I said, a simple thing like just answering a phone.
Maybe then a follow-up question would be: don't you think that the lack of one other reason why businesses tend to fail
Sure.
in recuperating the 17% in a manner that will give the yield that they are looking for is that the element of lack of brand conscious.
Yeah.
You understand? Because, and we touched on this on our previous set, that it starts there. You understand? The because we're talking at times when we talk of activities within each of these segments, one would think, no, but I'm doing those ones, but it's a whole value chain.
Yeah.
One affects the other. So when you can be doing some of this, but if something is not yet right, you still fail.
Yeah.
So what would be? Will you maybe just add on that? Are you?
Look, as we spoke, that I think at the end of the day, the idea is about I think changing the mindset.
Yeah.
Where we perceive brand as luxury.
Mm-hmm.
But rather as a necessity for any business to to thrive. And when we embrace that kind of mindset and outlook, it changes the whole ball game altogether.
That's right.
In terms of each and every component that has to do with the business.
That's right.
I mean, a simple, one of the simplest things. If you find yourself in a shop. Or maybe in a shop or in a restaurant while still dining, and suddenly one of the workers rocks up with a mop and a bucket of water. Instantly it's communicating to you that it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
So those simple practices, to them, they're thinking, no, we want to clean up a few minutes earlier before we close off. So that by the time we close, the time to officially close, then we don't stay behind doing odd stuff, job and whatnot. While that makes sense for them on the operational side of things, but for opportunity cost and in terms of brand, what that does, so it actually works against, and you are repelling potential business. Just that simple thing. And there's just quite a number of simple other things, basic things that we overlook in any type of business.
Yeah.
That when you start now thinking brand,
that's right,
it starts really affecting how you really do each and every component. From as simple as how the email goes out, to a client, to a potential business, how we answer the phone, how we show up on set, how we basically each and every small thing and thing that is associated with what we do as a business. So for me, I think it's I cannot stress that. I think more than enough in terms of how that I think just that mindset change changes the whole complex of a business, and inadvertently the bottom line as well.
Wow. Yeah, I threw in that one because I wanted our viewers to get to know that it's even with the Marketing Buyer Readiness Funnel, it's not just one standalone component that you can just pick it up and say, I'm going to implement this. It's a component that is within another strategy, well-defined strategy.
I just wanted to, I mean, a typical example. We recently had a situation where in one of our social media platforms, we shared a piece of content, which was a snippet from a video, a long form video, which that snippet got an engagement, and the viewers wanted to, because the communication on that piece of content, we are directing them to something.
Click here.
And the viewer was engaged and wanted to go there, but only to find that where they were supposed to go was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And And just that simple thing, basically, we can view it as a simple error or a simple mistake, but inadvertently, what it does say is from a brand and communication point of view,
there's a cost.
It's a serious cost in terms of opportunity.
Yeah.
So, but having that consciousness, as I'm saying, it then pushes each and every part, each and everyone involved in them, in the business and in the entire operation. Because when one doesn't pull their weight, it tends to affect every other thing as well.
All right. Maybe last question before we call it a day.
Sure.
Then you've highlighted it.
Yeah.
We might have touched on it then, but maybe to be frank on it, what sort of communication then as a business that we need you may need to undertake in communicating clarity?
Yeah.
What sort of content, that sort of, just guide, a brief guide on how to best communicate clarity. You highlighted engagement, meaning you have to engage.
You have to engage.
So what sort of content that drives engagement? Can you just share us up on that one, just to give a guide as to how do I handle my 17% segment as a business?
I think very important key thing is about as you said, that buyers in that stage they just want clarity. So it's about usually the type of, depending on you can use different mediums of communication. It can be text, can be graphic, can be video, or even audio. The standard practice in that specific aspect would be going detailed breakdowns of the big ideas. So in the 80% you are speaking about the big ideas, but now in the 17% you are providing clarity. So you are going a bit in depth in terms of what you meant by this idea, what you meant by that idea, what you meant by that idea, and providing like sort of frameworks, step-by-step guides. So you can look at those.
And should you communicate things such as, for more information, get in touch with whosoever, can you make those call out? You
can make those call to actions. A large part of them is about making provisions for engagement.
Okay.
To say that to learn more, this is a channel where we can engage with us, whether that be through direct call, whether that be through our social media platforms, whether it be through other private sites and links.
Should you
through
put
webinars.
A fee? That's the two to say for consultation fee right there and there.
Well, I think
depending on the
you'll be shooting yourself in the foot if because of then you'll be putting a fee too early. Because then you may put a ballpark. I think at that stage, because of still gathering information and preparing, it is important to have an idea what maybe something like that might cost. Even though that cost might not necessarily be accurate to a direct cost to me, but you can put figures like something like this.
Just there and then. If at times would you then are you of that school that at times things like cost fees and what they can be a form of deterrent, or they can then shape the relationship differently. Someone who sees that you always looking after their pocket, more than caring to find out what is it that they really need. Then the way they treat you, the demand they will place on you will be unreasonable at times because they feel I've paid already. So how can costs become deterrents when you talk of?
They can be. They can be. At the same time, so depending on how you go about it. And as you said, I think for me would be I don't wouldn't advise to do calls, especially in the 80%, and that's a large pool, by the way. So, and if truly you care about your customers and you're providing value and you provided enough value, I think by the time they get to that stage of 17%, even when they do come across a cost, the costs themselves don't necessarily become a deterrent factor. They actually serve as part of a guide, because they know now they are viewing this no longer as an expense, but they're viewing this as an investment.
Yeah.
Because that's how we would position it, so that what it registers to them is, this is what it would take me to invest in order to go to this direction, because of you would have started the journey from the 80.
Yeah.
So now you're
that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting to say. When you have provided relevance,
yes,
and you can charge for clarity.
Yeah.
You can put a fee on clarity because you have provided some form of relevance. So it's a second touch point with you. But to those you've not provided relevance, they just find you while looking for information. It can serve as a form of deterrent.
Look,
maybe they can be hard on it because they feel they don't really know much about you.
So my view would be, because from the very first place, my idea is I want to care and put the best interest of my clients or customers at heart. So even with the price tag, the idea would be I would put it there also as a guide, not necessarily to channel them to me specifically or to my business, but even if they go to another service provider or another business, another brand, at least I've helped them to know what to expect when they get there, so that if they get there and somebody charges them less than the ballpark that I've provided, it should create an alarming fact to say, hey, why is it that you are so low? And so that should be a helpful guide for them, to say, does this person really know, and does he have the capabilities to actually help me, and similar to if they get there and somebody charges them very high exorbitant amount, they can use this ballpark as a means of bargaining, to say, but hey man, why must this thing cost me more than this ballpark figure, So for me, I think the idea would more of saying, provide the price as a guide. What they do with that information is entirely up to them. Not because I want them to come to me necessarily, but I want to help them.
I don't know why I'm dwelling that much on the fee, on this fee, consultation fee part, but would you then say at times it's because of maybe the fact that you are established brand, you've got you are inundated with a lot of requests, engagements, and therefore to try and manage your time, you can introduce, because of the level of brand value, equity value that you have built, then that can also speak to you saying, I've reached this brand equity value, and therefore I know myself, I know what I can deliver. In order for you to engage with me, this is the fee. And others may feel, I'm associated with this big brand, it's worth paying for. But we've seen brands, I don't want to go into, we've seen brands where people paid expecting that they get the best service in terms of even searching for clarity, but they end up not getting even half of what the value of what they've paid for. So I just want to hear it.
I think
can brand
there
equity
are some
value
people that can do that.
There
is some people who do that, and also I think depending as well on how much value you have as an expert in that particular field.
Counts.
But that counts as well. I think maybe below a certain threshold, I'll probably say don't put a price to it.
You
know, you can, I think, at times scale up that or automate that process. You know, so that it doesn't require as much of your time per se. You know, and I think also at that level now you are no longer operating as a solopreneur. You most likely have now a team that is also able to get through to some of these back end and admin stuff for
and
the business.
But the reason why we have to unpack it to its fullness is a critical phase, you know. It will determine whether your funnel will give you the money's worth when everything falls down to the ready to buy or segment. So thank you, man. I think we've unpacked it so nicely. It's a very important and a very crucial phase. You miss taking serious consideration to this segment of the market. The reality is that you might not even have the ready to buy market that you intend to have, or in a percentage that you'd like to acquire them. So any final remarks, and then we'll take it again. We'll move on to the hot stage now. We'll conclude in the next part on the very important segment that we all yearning to acquire in its fullness.
Well, I think we've said I think a mouthful. But as I said, for me is it's important as a business to have a look and ask yourself, how am I communicating to these people, specifically people who need information, you know, and this is where you have like the website traffic, things like articles, and some downloadable stuff.
Last time we talked about options. Options, they play a crucial role in this segment. You remember when you say, should you have options? You remember you are trying to best serve a person looking for clarity. You should also give them options about what they're looking for. Do you refer them to your associates, or do you know what kind of just touch on the options part in this market? What role do providing options help?
So providing options is just I think as human beings we like the feeling of having options. So it's just more on playing around that psychology. But from a strategic point of view, it's about, you know, if you send them to a web page, for example, and they get there, so you are selling specific products. So the option might be, okay, what for this product ranges 3 other ranges, you know, and what are you getting for that one? What are you getting for this one? The prices. And so it's more of those type of options, just helping them to say, you know, to make a buying decision and what's best for them at that particular time of life. When
you understand that they're seeking for clarity, you must make sure that you cover all angles to give them the clarity. If it means you provide, but now referral. Do you refer them to your competitors, or what can you add on? If you don't have what they're looking for, what's the right approach to undertake?
Look, I always say the idea is you must refer them to the best possible solution. Whether that solution is you or is another business,
it's a solution.
That's a different story. But at the end of the day, if the best interest of the customer is what you have at heart, I think it's your moral obligation to make sure that you refer them to the right place.
Refer them to the right place.
Refer them to the right place. Whether that's in your business or another business. But I believe that's your moral obligation.
Yeah, it's a tough one to digest, but I like that. I like that. It happens a lot with. Sure. I've seen this with guys who are selling property, agents.
Yeah.
You would find an agent calling another agent to say, "I've got a buyer here.
Yeah.
He's my buyer.
Sure.
Is looking for something that you kind of have.
Sure.
Can you assist them?
Yeah.
You understand? I'll be the liaison partner in this, but because of they trust me that I've got their best interest at heart, and it has to do with that, regardless of whether you're referring them elsewhere, but have the best interest at heart of those that took their time to want to engage and get clarity from you. I think it goes without saying that it's only fair to.
It's only fair, And that's why when you move then from just having a very transactional mindset, where you are just chasing to make a sale, so this changes the how you do business inadvertently.
Mr. Mabusela, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to have a seat with you once more. We're looking at sealing our session, the next session, where we're now focusing on what many businesses go for. They only focus on that. But I think we've painted a clear picture to have a brand approach, provide relevance, give engagement. And we're going to move on to another segment and another part of the market that everyone, when they start the business, that's the focus. But to help one to have success in their businesses, it's always good to have a wider understanding of the market. So thank you so much. On my side, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
See you guys again next time. Thank you.